Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And today we are building a suburban home, a very stereotypical suburban home in Willow Creek for, I think it's for a family of 6. I want to say it's for a family of 6. Now there is room to actually expand if you wanted to go to the max household amount of Sims, which I think is like 8 Sims. That also includes pets. So if you did need an additional bedroom or something like that, there's a room downstairs that is an office that you could, of course, turn into a bedroom if you needed it. So there's plenty of room for even a family of 6 to grow in this home if that is something that you are looking for in your own gameplay. But I am ecstatic to share this one because I've been sitting on it since I built it May 30th. Literally May 30th, and the only reason I know that is because the last snippet of film for this video was on May 30th. So I've been sitting on this build for months, and there's no other reason other than finding the time to do an over 30-minute voiceover, which by the way, this video is like 34-ish minutes almost. If you stick to the end, you are a champion and I love you. But not only that, there have been so many other builds that I have been working on, and we just got, at the time of me releasing this video finally, we just got the high school years expansion pack. So there's like new content with that pack that I've been working on, and I may have already shared at this point. I don't know because I don't know exactly when I'm putting this up on the channel, but it has just been a whirlwind. And since I'm only doing one build a week at the moment, because I'm also doing 2 Let's Plays, which I am loving so freaking much. I just started, at the time of my recording this, I just started a new LP, and it's called Cross My Heart, which was a recommendation by one of you. I thought it was perfect. It fit the character I had in mind because I gave like an explanation on the community tab, and you guys helped me name this LP. So I started that, and at the time of me recording, there's only been 1 episode, but people seem to be really excited about it, and I am just infatuated with the character that I came up with, and I'm still working on the backstory and where each episode's gonna go, and I'm so looking forward to it. But I'm also doing the Star Sign Legacy Challenge, and we're maybe 14 or 16 at the time, like right now, episodes in, and it's wild. No, it is wild. It's somewhat heartbreaking, I will say that, but it has been absolutely wild. The game has been throwing me for loops, and the story is just, it's complete chaos, and I adore it so much. So long story short, that's why it has been so long that I've been sitting on this build, because I only share like generally 1 build a week, as well as the 2 LP episodes, which has been so fun to kind of strike that balance with building as well as gameplay, because I know that anyone can play the game however they would like. I just know that there are a lot of builders who don't necessarily dabble with gameplay a lot. They don't really spend a lot of time in live mode, and I do, and I like to share it with you guys because I see so many builds, and builds are beautiful and amazing. It's craftsmanship. It is like artistry what some people can do with this game and what builds they can create. I just wanted to give a little bit more attention to live mode too, because I think it also helps me become a better builder in the sense of I know how things will actually work in the game. I know if something's decorative, I know if something is interactive, and that's not to say that people who do strictly build don't know these things. I'm just saying that it helps me kind of keep up to speed with a lot of like new objects and new interactions and things like that, and just be a little bit more knowledgeable. So I like to do it because it helps me get to know the game a little bit better. So long story short, that is why I've been doing 1 build a week too, which is why I've been sitting on this one for so long. And I basically went through this entire rant because I knew the exterior was going to take forever. I really did. I knew it was going to take forever because I don't believe I cut anything out. And what I typically do when I start a build, well, kind of to play around with an idea, I suppose, is I will try to map out the exterior shell very loosely prior to even starting to record. If you're wondering what my like quote unquote trick is I'm not going in there and just going with it and seeing what I come up with. I try to map things out prior so I have an idea. But as for the siding choices, color scheme, the columns, the windows, the landscaping, I don't try to plan any of that out because honestly, it would just be really doubling down on a lot of work for me. So I don't do that, but I didn't do that for this build. I didn't plan out the shape ahead of time. I didn't try to map anything out. I just had a vision for what I wanted it to look like, and I kept playing around with it until I got it, which was a little bit frustrating. I think this build took me, I want to say 2 or 3 days for that reason, because I was trying to play around with it so much, and the floor plan kind of threw me for a loop originally too. Same with the color scheme, just all that stuff. I mean, there's so many components to creating something like this, and I'm just like, I'm very picky about what I choose. I could see someone make something that is like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's absolutely beautiful. How did you do that? And then if I were to create the same thing organically, I'd be like, no, it's garbage. Like, I'm just very, very critical of the work that I do. And I'm sure a lot of other people relate to that, but we are officially on to the front yard just to tackle the landscaping, which I used a lot of debug as per usual because it is cheaper. Not that it matters because my houses end up being super expensive anyway with all the clutter, etc. But I did use a lot of the debug landscaping items just because I kind of prefer them over what we have in the catalog. It can depend on what I'm building and what items I want to use, of course, but I thought going very simple with the landscaping on this build would be kind of nice, just using the white hydrangea for like pops of color and really just a lot of greenery. Other than that, I thought it fit Willow Creek really nicely. I could have used maybe some like yellow flowers or even purple, but I really liked the white. I think it popped with the windows I chose, which, by the way, off camera, that is the one thing I did off camera, is I used the My Wedding Stories shuttered windows on the exterior of this build because I saw my friend Rachel do it, and then I had to do it too because it was beautiful. If you weren't picking up on that too, I was thinking of Mean Girls. Like, I saw Regina George wear army pants and flip-flops, so I wore army pants and flip-flops. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I saw her do it, and now I really wanted to do it because I didn't think it would look so nice on a suburban home. I'd only use them in Tartosa, so I was thrilled. But we have officially mapped out the floor plan, which is a little bit awkward. It was a little bit different for me, but it's a really, really big downstairs. I think there's a bathroom and a separate laundry room, but the first room that we work on the first room that we work on is the dining room, and we work on the dining room because I was so excited to create this space right in front of this archway, which is from the industrial loft kit that leads to the backyard and the pool. And I just imagine that on like a spring or summer day, having that breeze just pooling in there while you're sitting around with your family and friends would be so peaceful and nice. And I went with like a very soft color scheme. It's kind of like this cream wood texture for the floor, and then I matched it with an even lighter wood for a lot of the furniture pieces. Like, this table is from the My Wedding Stories game pack. The chairs, I think, are so pretty. They're from the Paranormal Stuff pack, and it just became a very soft, in my opinion, pretty room. I also got to use this china cabinet from the Cats and Dogs pack. I did size it down with the tool mod a little bit, but I thought it was so pretty. I barely get to use it because it's such a big item, but using it here felt really, really nice. I added a few different indoor plants as well, just because I think this would probably be the space where they'd get the most sunlight just because they are so kind of sort of exposed to the elements through that archway. And I decided to try to play around with like different mirrors as well in the game, because this mirror from the Tiny Living stuff pack, it drives me nuts because I always feel as though it's too small. And you guys have probably noticed that I do a lot of like console tables with mirrors above them. I always use the same ones. So I wanted something a little bit different, and therefore I just lined up 3 of these mirrors to create what kind of looks like one long cohesive mirror to me. I don't know if it does to you, but I thought it was pretty, and it kind of added a contemporary feel to this home, even though it does seem a bit soft and kind of rustic and, I don't know, kind of muted, if that makes sense. There's pops of green and blue in places, but it's still pretty muted with the cream colors that I went for as well. But I just love this room. It's probably my favorite room in the entire build. I think aside from this room, I really enjoy the living room as well. The kitchen I struggled with a lot too. I did struggle with the kitchen because I didn't know how rustic I wanted to go or if I wanted to go super contemporary, but it is the next room that we work on. So I was trying to diversify the kitchen a little bit, trying to pick a different layout, maybe keep the fridge on its own wall and put a side table next to it and like put a lamp on it. And I can't recall if I end up keeping that to some extent. I might, but it just seems so awkward. It felt like I was trying to do something, like I was trying way too hard to do something that I didn't really have a vision with. So I ended up just saying, you know what? whatever, I'm gonna just go with it, see what comes to mind, try to build out this kitchen as best that I can. So I did use these countertops from Cottage Living, and I paired it with the Cottage Living fridge as well as the stove from Parenthood. And the reason why I ended up sticking with it is because the overhead cabinets did have the blue, but then I thought it was a bit overpowering. I softened it with the yellow curtains instead on these cabinets, just to, I don't know, diversify a little tiny bit, because blue and yellow are also, I think they're complementary colors. Are they complementary colors? I think they are. So I think it worked with the rest of the color scheme of the build itself. I also added this console table from the Cats and Dogs pack and tried to make it look like a little faux island that you could sit at. Of course, that chair there, I did have to place it with like move objects on, which of course I always build with, but I did place it there just for show. Your Sims can't actually sit there and use that table to eat at or do anything like that, but I thought it was kind of a nice touch. It seemed a little bit different. Instead of using the bigger bar countertops, they just felt a little bit too big. I tried them at first, but I just didn't like how much space they were taking up. It seems as though there wasn't enough space for your Sims to walk into the kitchen and like work around them. It just seemed a little bit too cramped for me. And aside from the dining table, I do also put a less formal breakfast table. I think it's one of the round dining tables as well, so it still seats like up to 6 Sims, I think. And I place that through the archway from the kitchen. So there's like many a place to sit and enjoy a meal and have your Sims like talk with one another. But that's why I didn't end up putting the bar stools here, or the bar countertops with the bar stools, because I just didn't think that a third place to sit was going to be necessary in any capacity. I also entertained using the wainscoting from the, what's it called? The kit. What was it called? A decor to the max kit. The decor to the max kit. Yes, if I haven't mentioned it already, I did cave and I did buy it. And the reason for that is because I wanted the lamp, the floor lamp. I wanted it. I wanted the wainscoting. And I also wanted, I think it was the couch. I think I really liked the couch. Maybe the mirror as well. I don't remember, but I did finally cave and buy it. And I say that because when it first came out, I was like, no, I refuse to buy this, because it really just isn't my style. I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's just not my style. I really didn't think I was going to like it that much, or nor could I see myself using it that much. But I've now used it more than I anticipated, so I am glad that I bought it. But of course, if it's not your style, you are not obligated to get it either. The kitchen is pretty much almost together at this point. It was a struggle. It really, really was, to try to sort out exactly how I wanted this kitchen to look, what I wanted it to include. But then we move on to this little space, which is where the rounded dining table is. And I was thinking that this was more so kind of like where everyone would sit and have breakfast. Again, it does seat up to 6 Sims, so it would be perfect for the number of Sims that I actually built this home for. And I just thought it was a nice space off the kitchen to have something such as breakfast or like a snack. Maybe the kids sit here and do homework, but the formal dining room was where they would kind of entertain or maybe have bigger meals. That was kind of the thought. It is a pretty plainly decorated room, maybe a couple of plants. There might even be just those little mason jar lights. And then we move on to the living room, which is a very odd shape. I didn't like the shape. It scared me a little bit. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to work with it, but I knew with a space this big, I did want to have a fireplace. So I used this fireplace from Parenthood. I did size it up a little bit with Tool Mod, as well as the television. And I think I also sized up the bookshelves, but I can't remember. And now I literally just watched it in front of me and I can't remember if I did it, but it doesn't matter. When you size things up with the tool mod, when you guys download this build, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to make them go back to their original size. It's not going to show us using mods or CC or anything like that. So it doesn't really matter, but I did size it up if you are wondering. And I also sized up this rug from the Tiny Living Stuff pack. And I used the Cats and Dogs couches, the tried and true, one of my favorite couches, probably my favorite couch. And I love this blue swatch so much. And again, it complemented the color scheme that I was going for in the entire build. We've got a coffee table, we've got the 2 little end tables, and there I go. I did it. I did do it. I sized up the bookshelves. I knew I did it because I wanted it to look more like an entertainment unit more than anything. It just looked really odd with the gaps. But anyway, I put a console table behind the couch here to put a few items on. And then there's also a family computer. Again, there is an office space, but it's not my standard office. I don't know when we get to it, but I'm just very excited to show it to you. It's not a standard office. It's for a very particular use, and it's something that I never explore in gameplay or place items for in my build. So I'm looking forward to it. There's also a chess table so they can work on their logic skill. And then I just put a wall mirror over there on the wall because I didn't know what else to put there. And then we decorate this little console table just with another plant. There's always tons of plants in my builds. If you've been here for a while, you know this. I also added some cat sculptures, and though I didn't envision this family having a cat because I didn't include cat bowls or litter boxes, maybe that's how you could fill one of the slots that are remaining for this household, because there's supposed to be 6 Sims. Maybe they could have a cat or something. I don't know. Now over here, right at the end of the stairs, kind of near the entryway, is a laundry room. And I use this shelf from Eco Lifestyle that I almost never get to use unless I make a garage. And then there's a washer and dryer, and of course like cabinets and things like that, like hangers. And what I ended up doing, I did do it. I used this actual wardrobe from Dream Home Decorator and merged it into one of these overhead cabinets. So technically speaking, if you wanted to add a bit of realism, you could have your Sims go in here and change their outfit as if they just pulled from the clean laundry, which I thought was a really cute idea. And I genuinely do this in my gameplay, whether it's that or having my Sims go to a wardrobe to change their outfit prior to them like leaving the house or when they get home. I will always do that. It's kind of an inconvenience because your Sims can just change their outfit right on the spot, but I do it for the realism because that's what I'm all about, and I really enjoy doing it. And then over here is going to actually be I think it's going to be a full bathroom. And it's a full bathroom because there is one bedroom on the first floor. Now that my memory is kind of coming back for this build, there's an office, but then there's also a bedroom down here. I think it's for 2 children, maybe even preteens. I can't recall the exact age I was thinking, so I thought that a full bathroom down on the first floor was going to be the best bang for your buck, instead of having all 6 Sims have to go to the the significantly smaller second story to like use the bathroom, shower, and all that stuff, get ready to leave the house for school and work, etc. And then this entryway is actually pretty big, but I like that it's fairly open with the archways, so I didn't overly decorate it. I want to say just this bench, and I might even move it over at the bottom of the stairs. I was thinking of the aquarium, but when you size it down, it doesn't really work, and the aquarium was a little bit too big for my liking. And no, temporarily you saw jail bars. Those didn't end up in the house. I'm sorry to disappoint. They were not necessary for this house, but I do shift the bench over there. I add this little, I think it's a coat rack, kind of like mitten coat winter clothes storage thing from Seasons. Even though there is another coat rack in the corner, I just thought it was kind of nice because with so many Sims in the house, you need a place to store all of your outdoor wear, and it can't all be in your bedrooms. So why not have something like this at the front where they could theoretically just grab their stuff and run out the door. And then over here is just a little hallway area. There is going to be, I want to say, a closet, because I thought it would be a nice idea to have a closet. There really isn't too much else in that space. But then we move on to the office. This is it. This is the office. So I made it an archaeologist's office, and that excites me greatly because I never ever think about that skill or the objects to help build the skill. And I was thinking that one of the parents in this household is, whether they're an archaeologist or some kind of researcher. No, I'm thinking archaeologist, but also a researcher, because that's essentially what you're doing. So I think that they travel a ton, or maybe they did in their early career and they've built up a substantial collection of things. They've kept trinkets on this little shelf from the paranormal stuff pack that I have here from some of their travels, and they periodically maybe help out a local university to kind of authenticate things that are found. So maybe they're not actively out there digging and finding things, but they are still contributing to the field of archaeology. I just really loved the idea. I don't even know where it came from, but it came out of nowhere, and I thought it would be really nice to have a space like this. So this is that office space. So there's the archaeology table. There's also that bench that came with Jungle Adventure. There's a lot of Jungle Adventure items in this room because that's the pack it came with, but there's also a fair amount of paranormal stuff pack items like this shelf and some of these sculptures, just because I thought they would work perfectly. They're a little bit quirky, a little bit odd. Maybe some look a little bit historic. I don't really know, but I loved this office space so much, and it gets so much natural light. I think in one of the screenshots at the end, it shows how much natural light floods into this room, and it brought me an immeasurable amount of joy. It really, really did. So I hope you guys enjoy it. But now we are working on one of the bedrooms downstairs, or the bedroom downstairs. And again, using a fair amount of Dream Home Decorator. I used the bunk beds, I want to say, because 6 Sims. Yeah, there's this bedroom, and then I think there's 3 upstairs or 4? 3 or 4? No, I can't even remember. It's going to be a surprise when we get up there, but yeah, I really liked this bedroom. Again, using those soft blue colors, the whites, the creams, everything just looked very, very peaceful to me, but I did want to make it a little bit cluttery because of course there are kids in this room and not all kids are particularly neat or clean all the time, especially in their bedrooms where they keep all their stuff. But I thought it was a really cute room. I did attempt, because at the time of me building this, I think we had recently gotten the little campers kit. So I did use this table, and I think I used the Yeti game, which is essentially Don't Wake the Llama, but with a Yeti, which I think is really cute. I tried using the dollhouse, but I think it was too big for this space, and I had to kind of omit some things that I wanted to use, so I didn't keep that, but I swapped out the tall dresser for this little one. I gave them that little cat radio from the little campers kit as well, just because I thought it would be kind of nice. They could just blast their own music in their room if they wanted to. I added a few pieces of like kid artwork and decoration items, but I thought it was cute. I thought maybe, I don't typically say this, but maybe these kids are twins, not just close in age. I feel like they're twins and they like all of the same things, which is very stereotypical. I know that twins are 2 completely different people, but I think that these twins really enjoy a lot of the same things. So they really love playing Don't Wake the Yeti. They really like artwork. They're very creative kids. They both really enjoy music. So sharing this room was perfect for them. They get along really nicely. They like all of the same things for the most part, so there's like barely any conflict that happens. As for their siblings upstairs, I don't really know, but at least they get along. That's a plus. When you've got like 4 kids in the house, theoretically the 2 parents and 4 kids, that's pretty good. There's probably a lot of conflict that you could expect, so minimizing that's nice. But upstairs, we are finally moving on to the upstairs, and there are 3 additional bedrooms up here, as well as 2 bathrooms. Because there's so many Sims, I thought more bathrooms would be necessary. I try to keep the number of bedrooms to be more than the number of bathrooms, just because I feel like it's more realistic, but at the same time, sometimes I swap them. So this is actually going to be the parents' room. It's smaller than I was anticipating, just with the size of the build itself, but I think it works perfectly for 2 Sims. They have everything that they need in here. They've got 2 side tables. They've got, I think, a wardrobe over here. I even made one of the other bedrooms a bit smaller just to give the parents a bit more space. And in fact, I kind of combined, in little air quotes, those 2 standing dressers so the parents could kind of like each have one. And then I was like, well, there's kind of no point. So I'm just going to put this mirror here instead. That's me recovering for the fact that I thought I did something and then I didn't and surprised myself. So there you go. Real time. But it's a very plainly decorated bedroom. There really isn't anything fancy about it. It is just very soft and peaceful in my opinion, and brings the color scheme from the downstairs to the upstairs as well. And I often do that with master bedrooms more than kids' rooms. Kids, teens, like toddler rooms and stuff, they're of their own design. They can be any color scheme or anything like that. But when it comes to the master bedroom, I try to keep it, I should be saying the primary bedroom actually. For the primary bedroom, I try to keep it flush with the rest of the build in regards to color and style and things like that. But they do have this little side console table with just a few stacks of books, maybe some like toiletries, some towels that are just theirs that the kids never use. And then we end up working on a bathroom up here. So there is the double sink. Now, even though this is not an ensuite bathroom for the parents, I was thinking this was mainly the parents' bathroom, and yet at the same time, I think I put a shower and a bathtub, or a shower tub combo and a bathtub. There's something like that. There's the ability to take the bath as well as take a shower. I just don't remember exactly how I laid it out. Oh, that's how I did it. Oh, I remember what I did. I did the shower tub combo, and then I tried to make like a little glass pane here for a standing shower, and it really wasn't working for me that way. So I ended up using these room dividers from the Moschino stuff pack. They created less of a shadow compared to the window, which kind of like drove me a little nuts, to be completely honest with you. I even used the tool mod to size them down just so I could make them a little bit more even, but I did use one of those like wall showers, if you will. And I didn't use platforms to make it, to like bring it up, to rise it, right? To rise it, to bring it up, or to lower it, because I just think it would be a little bit wonky, but it ended up working. Like I said, I think it's mainly the parents' bathroom, but of course with so many kids, it doesn't really matter, and it's not off of their bedroom in particular, so they can't really claim it as their own, I guess. Now this is going to be another either kid or like preteen room is what I was thinking, maybe even more so teenager. It's a little bit, when I say childish, it's not a bad thing, but it's a little bit of an immature room, but there are touches of those tides changing, if you will. There are touches, like mature touches throughout the room as well, even though there might be some child items in here or some more youthful items. So maybe this would be great for like a preteen or a teen, depending on the family that you have in mind, but it is a reasonably small room, so I couldn't fit too much, but I do believe that this sim likes yoga and they like crafting, and I also gave them the freezer bunny guitar in the corner of their room, so they are also a very creative sim. I seem to create creative sims a lot. Why do I do that? I don't know why I do that. That's something I have to challenge them myself. Not all of my sims are going to be creative little beans. Some of them might be a little bit more inclined to enjoy like mathematics and science and stuff like that. And it's not that I don't enjoy those things. Why do I do that? I don't know. Maybe it's just more appealing to me. I don't know why I do that. But I also give them an art easel. I'm having like an existential crisis as I do this voiceover and think about like what I enjoy, what subjects I enjoy, and why I make sims the way I do. But I don't know, maybe it's a necessary thought to have. Anyway, so that room is now done. And then there's also going to be a toddler room. And I love this toddler room. It's a little bit odd. I had to make this decision, but it's because I wanted this to be for a larger family and it still makes me uncomfortable. This bedroom does not have any windows, because it's basically facing roof pieces. So that doesn't really work. And what I attempted to do is to use curtains and some kind of painting to make it look like there was a faux window, but I really wasn't feeling the creativity flowing for that. So I didn't end up doing it. I didn't end up sticking with it. And maybe this isn't for 6 sims. Is this only for 5 sims? Have I made something up in my head? I think I have, because we've got the 2 kids downstairs, the 2 parents, the 1 other kid. No, wait. The 2 kids downstairs, the 2 parents, the 1 other kid, and the toddler. No, that's 6. That's 6. I can count. It's 6 sims. We're doing okay. We're doing all right. But the toddler room I think is very cute. I use very soft colors. So there's blues and purples and pinks and of course the cream colors and whites. And I just wanted it to be really cutesy and reasonably colorful without it being too overpowering. So they do have the blocks, they've got the little dollhouse. There is a full dresser as well as the little cube organizer dresser thing, just because I was thinking that the little cube thing was more so maybe for toys, which is why I put toys on top of it. Again, it is a wardrobe, so that's really just me kind of pretending and trying to implement a little bit of realism in there. But I think it's a very cute, soft room, and I really, really did enjoy making it. And that's when I completely forgot about the pillows, by the way, from the little campers kit. I think I might use them on some of the beds in this build, but I can't recall. We're probably going to find out in the screenshots because I just cannot remember. And there's also a lot of hallway spaces to configure. So I did all that off camera. I did the additional bathroom off camera. And then we get to the backyard and the back porch. And I love the space. I'm usually not comfortable with spaces like this, but I really liked this one. So in the front, I added 2 of these chairs with just like a little side table and I think a candle. So maybe the parents like to sit out front and sip their coffee or their tea and just kind of like wave at the neighbors as they walk by. I don't know. That's very neighborly. I don't know if I'm that neighborly as like a person. I'm an introvert, okay? It's not that I don't like people. I'm not going to be the first one to say hi. I'm so sorry. I'm just not. But there's also a bench out here as well, just because I wanted to fill the space a tad. And then we get to the backyard again, where I have kind of sectioned things off a little bit more than I did in the beginning. So there's the pool area. There's also a little grass area as well for some kid activities. There's a picnic table out here for everyone to kind of sit and maybe grill outside instead of just eating inside. So there are technically like 3 different places to eat food, which is nuts. I don't know why I do this, but I thought it was a really nice space and it definitely called for a table outside so you could have some outside dining. And then there's also a bicycle. There is, of course, the pool. I think I add some lounge chairs. And then out here, I thought it was so cute. I didn't end up using the tent, but I did use the swing set that came with the little campers kit because it matched perfectly style-wise, and especially in this little grass area. I just wanted it to be more of a kids area aside from the pool, which of course there's floaties and stuff for like the kids, but I was thinking that the kids deserve their own little outside play area as well that had softer ground aside from like stone. which would be painful. Scrape many a knee on stone. But this is pretty much where I will leave it. I won't show you guys every single thing. You will see it in screenshots. So thank you so much for sticking by this one. It was a long one. I appreciate you so, so much. And I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.